Yo, Pimpin' Didi, how'd you get to the point of writing this book called Kingpin of the Pimps? Tell us about it.
Okay, thank you, Gordon. Well, you understand, back in the day, you understand, my uncle was a notorious pimp. I'm from Oakland, California, originally from Oakland, California. You understand, coming up in them 70s, you know, my uncle had a pool room out there in East Oakland. And, you know, as a little boy, I would often go into the pool room, you know, starting around 8, 9, 10 years old. And I would be sucking up like Absorbing Jr., you know, all these superfly pimps from all over the country used to come into my uncle's pool room when they was in town. You understand? You know, Robert Beck, who was Iceberg Slims, you know, Donald Goins, all the Ward brothers, Frank Ward, Ted Ward, you know, all these superfly cats, 7-Up, you know, the Uncola. So I would be in my uncle's pool room sucking this up, and being that my uncle, you understand, was a notorious pimp himself, you know, I would hear stories, and you know, I would always ask my uncle, because he had a picture of J.D. Walker on his wall, and I would always ask him, I say, Unc, you understand, who's the boss's pimp that you know? So, you know, he would always talk about J.D. Walker, J.D. Walker. You know, in 1976, they had a movie featuring, you understand, the brother, the pimp, J.D. Walker, and it portrays, you understand, where J.D. Walker they thought was dead, but his spirit came back. You know, he used to say, you understand, J.D. Walker, back then Michael Jordan went out, but, you know, it was Will Chamberlain and it was Julius Erving. He used to say, you understand, J.D. Walker was the Muhammad Ali, you understand, a pimping. So I would hear this story. He would tell this story often, over and over, how J.D. Walker got his game. You know, he got his game from an old school pimp named Wilbert Montgomery, who pimped for some 25 years in New York City. So, you understand, my uncle said that the reason why he say Pimpin' Perry, he gonna get the crown as being the #1 pimp is because he knocked Nicky Barnes. Nicky Barnes was a multi-millionaire, you understand, when black people didn't have no money. He was selling heroin with Frank Lucas. If you see the movie American Gangster, he was selling big old dope, and he was a millionaire in the 70s, you understand, and he couldn't believe how this low-level, young, 22-year-old pimp just really getting his feet wet, knocked this bottom bitch, you understand, took him for, you understand, for about $15 million, you understand, and Nicky Barnes went to prison, you understand. And so when my uncle used to tell me this story, I was intrigued with it. Growing up as a little boy, I was intrigued with this story, you understand. So my time in penitentiary, you know, the first time I was in penitentiary in the 90s, I took a pen and I really got into this. You know, I understand, I closed myself off, purposely went to the hole to just really get into, you know, a lot of pimping. Like my uncle used to just really feed this pimping to me, and I really went on and put the book together, and the book is a true story. Nicky Barnes is in federal witness protection program, but an FBI agent that arrested me back in the 90s, you understand, he see I'm doing some superfly stuff. I gave him a copy of this and I told him to give it to Nicky Barnes. Nicky Barnes just laughed, you understand, because he knows